Let's look at a quick conversation between three people concerning a change in requirements. First, the product owner. The requirements have changed. That's Agile. One of the developers adds, no, that has nothing to do with Agile. Sorry, you can't say that. The Scrum Master then adds, calm down, both of you. Let's talk about that in 8 days in the sprint retrospective. What's wrong here? Well, quite a few things, but one of the core problems is that the product owner and the developer, it seems that they both understand Agile differently. The word, different definition of what Agile is. The product owner seems to be cherry-picking the change part in Agile. The developer wants to be empowered, and the Scrum Master is just following the Scrum Guide for them to find common ground. To be able to move forward, we first need to agree on a common definition of what Agile really is. In this video, we're going to talk about 7 things that you should avoid saying in an Agile environment. First, the scope is fixed. We don't expect any changes until release. Really? How do you know? We should be working every single sprint to provide the maximum amount of value to the customer in an ever-changing environment. That's okay. The market is changing. The taste of a customer changing. Competitors changing. Everyone is changing. And we don't know what will happen in the future. We are in a complex environment, and that's okay. Every single sprint, we should target to maximize the value of a product increment that we're going to build for the customer. Every single sprint, we release something, we collect feedback from the customer. Obviously, we have an assumption. We believe that the customer will like this. We release it and we get feedback. Did the customer like it? Not like it? What needs to change? Something new needs to be added, a new feature, a change in this feature. And when we do this, if we believe that it will maximize value, we do this the next sprint, another increment, we collect feedback again. And it goes on and on every single sprint. The scope is never fixed because we are always trying to maximize value in an ever-changing requirement for an ever-changing customer. Number 2, avoid using the term resources. If you're talking about people, don't say resources. Say people. You're talking about people. People are feelings, emotions. They are not machines that work 40 hours per week or even more in some companies. They have qualities, personalities. They are unique. People are unique, not like machines. Different level of skills, different level of qualities. And that's okay if you treat them like machines. Resources, you won't be getting the maximum amount of output of value from them. They are creative, they are innovative, they are unique. So treat them accordingly. Value them as human beings. Number 3, avoid pressuring people, teams to meet unrealistic dates, especially when these dates were not committed on by them. Have you ever heard of this? A project manager is talking to other managers in the company. I've been reviewing this project for the past few weeks, and I believe that if all the story points are done, we are good for a release. And if not, well, we can tell a manager to start pressuring the team to make them work more efficiently. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? First, what's the role of this project manager for this project? We are working in an Agile environment. Maybe we are using Storypoint. Maybe we are using Scrum. What does the project manager do in this environment? The team is supposed to be self-organized, self-managed. Is the project manager only doing status reporting or making decisions for the team? And what about this manager who will pressure the team to work more efficiently? How will the manager do that? The team is self-organized. Let them self-organize. Let them be self-managed. Let them think and make decisions together. Not a manager, someone outside the team telling them what to do or micromanaging them. Yeah, you can pressure the team to work more, do overtime, be more productive, to meet the release date. In the short term, it's gonna work, but in the long term, they will be unmotivated. Yeah, less driven. Turnover in the team will increase. People will start leaving the team and go work for companies that value them. So less driven, less motivated people, people leaving the team. All of this will result in the team not being able to meet the deadlines. And because of this, managers will keep on pressuring the team overtime to meet the deadlines. It's a vicious cycle. So don't start it. Let the team be self-managed, self-organized. I see so many product owners struggling with this concept. They are driven, they are motivated, and they really don't understand why developers are not that driven, not that motivated. They are so focused in micromanaging the team, making sure that the team is 100% efficient, but we don't realize the problem. They don't realize that it's a lack of transparency from their part. They are not leading the team well. They understand where we are going as a team, where the product is going, but do the developers also understand that? In most cases, no. They are getting so much pressure from people outside the team, even from the product owner, to meet the deadline, but they can't really think of the future. They are just coding, completing, getting this done, getting something new, getting this done, getting something new, in a vicious cycle, not being able to think about the why, the purpose, and because of that, they are not driven, not motivated. As a product owner, increase this transparency. Always talk about the why, the purpose, and they will also get this motivation, same as you. Do this. Let them be self-organized. Your role is to lead them. Increase this motivation, the why part. Number 4, avoid saying that the sprint review is only a demo. As per the latest version of the Scrum Guide, the purpose of a sprint review is to inspect the outcome of a sprint and determine future adaptations. The Scrum team presents the results of their work to key stakeholders, and progress towards the sprint goal is discussed. The sprint review is a beautiful example of the 3 pillars of Scrum. The Scrum framework: transparency, inspection, adaptation. First, transparency. We are transparent. We show everything, what we were planning to do in the sprint, what we have accomplished in the sprint in terms of story points. We demo the product. We show a product to the stakeholders and also the team. We talk about what went well, what could be improved in future sprints, what is coming next, what we are planning to do next, and then we inspect all of this. The team, the product owner, the developers, and also the stakeholders, they provide feedback, and then we use this feedback to adapt the product backlog. The sprint review is way more than a demo. Number 5. Agile, but agile in the word only. I've seen that countless times. Many companies I've worked with, 99% of companies I've worked with, the directors, upper management, they want to this agile way of working. They want to implement agile, and they start implementing agile, but don't want to get involved. They don't want to get involved. They believe that agile is for the teams only. Do your agile thing. Go faster. Let us cut the budget. Deliver more. But don't distract us. We have other things to do in upper management. The directors have other things to do. Agile is your thing. We won't be changing our mindset. We don't want to get involved. Agile doesn't work if everyone in the company is not involved. Everyone should be involved. That's the number one reason why agile implementations fail, because it's only for the teams. No, it shouldn't be like that. Directors need to be part of it. Upper management need to be part of this. How can agile even work? How can we let the team be self-managed, self-organized, when you have managers somewhere who haven't changed their mindset? They are still pressuring the team to meet unrealistic dates because their mindset didn't change. How can the team focus on maximizing value for the customers when management is telling them to deliver faster? It doesn't work. It won't work. Everyone needs to be involved, especially management, directors, upper management. They really need to understand why we are doing it and what's the expected outcome. And the expected outcome is not going faster or cheaper. No, that's a lie. The expected outcome is providing more value to the customers. If they understand that and they agree on going into this direction, then you can do this agile thing. But you can't do this agile thing. Tell the team to go into this direction when management they still believe that agile will make us go faster. Oh, that's wrong. It's wrong. Everyone needs to have the same understanding of what agile is. Number 7, please just do this little thing for me, this little task for me. It shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. This is usually said by product owner to developers in the team, or even worse, by stakeholders or people outside the team to developers in the team directly, even bypassing the product owner. If you're using Kanban, it's okay. You can just reprioritize things on your Kanban board. But if you're using Scrum, it starts to get messy. You see, with the Scrum framework, we do a sprint planning first. We commit on a list of things to do. User stories, tasks, defects, anything. We commit also on a sprint goal, and then we start the sprint. But if during the sprint, the product owner consistently is telling the developers, okay, just do this whole thing for me. Nothing to do with what we committed on. Stakeholders outside the team telling developers, oh, just check that for me. Just work on this whole thing for me. How can the developers work on what was committed? How can the developers work on the sprint goal if you're constantly distracted by unplanned events, unplanned things to do? That's why, one of the reasons why we can't meet our commitments. If your team currently unable to meet their commitments, one of the first thing you need to do is track all of this. Increase transparency. Show all the things that the developers do every single day. And you'll realize that a big percentage of what they do, nothing to do with a sprint goal, nothing to do with the commitments of a sprint planning. They do a lot of little things, but when you add up all these things, huge distraction. That's one of the reasons why we can't meet the commitment. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.